We are back, and the film guy has arrived, and there's a lot to deal with, Brooks. So let's talk first about the issues in this game, and certainly everyone making a big deal about Bobo being out.
Yeah.
Up front. How does Georgia deal with that?
There's a multitude of line of scrimmage issues going into this football game with relatives to injuries. We'll start with what you asked about with Drew. It's been a chaos absorption football player all year. With the way defenses have evolved, Paul, they're throwing a lot of mixed stunts, a lot of chaos at the line of scrimmage. Having a really, really good center that knows what's about to happen and can predict what's about to happen, get all five prepared for what's about to happen, has been the key to Georgia's success. I would argue, Georgia's had three centers over the last six or 7 years or so, right? It's been Cedric Van Pran, Jared Wilson, and Drew Bobo. I would argue that Drew Bobo is probably the least talented of the three, but the unit has worked best with him in there because, like what I'm saying, he's getting everybody on the same page. Alabama dealing with something similar, right, with LT Overton. I have felt like LT, since he's been at Alabama, has been the most down-to-down, consistent, excellent football player that they have at the line of scrimmage. And back in the day, when we didn't have talent attrition like we do now, you could, Band-Aid these issues a whole lot better with regards to injuries, right? If Deron Payne used to go out, it's okay. We got Quentin Williams. I remember in 2021, Jamari Sawyer going down in the SEC championship game, Paul, and Georgia just slid in Broderick Jones, a five-star offensive tackle. Well, the problem now, because talent has dispersed everywhere through NIL and the transfer portal, Georgia's already starting their true freshman at tackle, right? They're already playing their true freshman on the offensive line. So when you have these injuries late in the season, they hurt a lot more. It's why that secondary level of those rosters are really, really important nowadays.
Talking to the film guy, of course, on the other side, a couple of key injuries for Alabama in the backfield and on the side. How does Alabama deal with that?
Yeah, Jam Miller's a major part of this offense from a consistency standpoint. I felt like he had his best game of the year last week against Auburn. Some of the most explosive carries that he's had today. I'll be honest, I don't think the Alabama running back room has really maximized yardage available on tape. That offensive line getting a lot of heat this year for the way that running game has performed. It's been a little bit due to them, but I feel like the running backs could do a lot better job of maximizing the carries. Obviously, they'll have to lean on Daniel Hill now, but he's been banged up as well. That's a big, young football player, so I think those injuries are major. The one that I don't think anybody's really talking about, because you really got to go look for it, is Parker Brailsford right now, the center for Alabama. Paul, he's playing with what looks like a cast on one of his feet. I mean, he's got a heavy tape job, and if you look at just the film of what he put on tape against Georgia in the first matchup back in September versus what he put on tape against Auburn, those are two totally different football players. When Parker Brailsford is healthy, I think he is the next version of Jason Kelsey, one of these super highly athletic offensive linemen that plays the center position, super smart, but really changes what we can do because how athletic he is. And he's really playing on one wheel right now is what it looks like.
I don't want to draw any conclusions here because the line's pretty tight, but it seems like there's somewhat of an imbalance when it comes to who's not in this game.
Oh, with regards to injury, I mean, Kobe Young's a massive loss for Georgia at the ex-receiver position. They lost him several weeks ago. They've had an opportunity to kind of throw bodies at that position. But, Paul, it's what I talked about just a second ago. This is the nature of college football now for SEC teams. Like, look, Ohio State can rest two starting wide receivers against Rutgers because they can do that. But you got to go through 8 of these. Next year, 9 of these against really, really physical football teams, and you're going to sustain injuries. I don't want to get to this point of the season every year and start complaining about, oh, we have injuries. That's part of the sport now. You're going to get asked to play 16 football games unless you earn your right to get a bye in the first round of the playoffs. Then you get to, play a measly 15-game schedule where 12 of them are against top 10 football teams if you're an SEC football team.
Okay, let's get into the rest of the game as you break it out. We see we're with you during the week, and you walk up to the film. So let's start with Gunnar Stockton. Where is he, and what does he have to do?
It's really concerning for an analyst like me who has watched him all year, and you just see this steady bar of progression of growth. Mm-hmm. Like the athlete has just gotten so much better, consistently better. Not having like 3 games where we're playing good, and then 2 games where we don't look good, and then 2 more games of good, and then 1 game bad. It's been steady growth. And then you look at that Georgia Tech tape, and it's like, this isn't the guy I've been watching the last 2 months. It was more concerning because it was like, oh, this is still possible. And what do I mean by that? Like, we're still turning things down on tape. We're looking at wide open receivers that we don't necessarily trust ourselves to throw the football to. The other thing that was concerning about that last week is he, for the first time all year, failed to tie his feet to his eyes. And when we play the quarterback position and work through our progressions like we have to at a place like Georgia, if our lower body is not tied to our upper body, if one is ahead of the other or if one is behind the other, we're not able to throw the football when we get to the backside of the progressions. Players in schools like Alabama are going to take away your primary progression. You're going to have to work through it. So he's got to be able to do that consistently and confidently and be able to rip the football tomorrow, or else they're going to have to lean on a running game. At least they have one. Bama doesn't, it seems.
Well, so how much of it was him last week overall, and how much of it was the injury to his center?
So, I mean, the injury to Drew happens midway through the first half. Like, you can see on tape, by midway through the second quarter, Drew's laboring through an injury. They bring Tolliver back in, and I don't think that had much to do with the passing game success. That was the problem. I mean, the run game got a little bit more discombobulated in the second half because they threw a redshirt freshman in there and had to go figure it out on the fly against Georgia Tech. So you would assume over the last 7 days they've had an opportunity to get Malachi Tolliver a little bit more comfortable, maybe even get a guy like Cortez Smith, who is a highly touted high school football player and a born center, born to play that position, maybe get him a chance now that he's maybe potentially more healthy. But it is a very concerning matchup, Paul, because Tim Keenan, in my opinion, for my money, Tim Keenan is the most impactful true zero nose tackle we have in this conference. He's a load. He's a fire hydrant. It's hard to move. So it's a problem.
Okay, we've come to the point where we're all eagerly waiting. Give us the overall breakdown of the game and the winner.
I mean, 1 for their last 9 or 1 and 9 over the last 10. I always pick Alabama until I don't. That's the way. There's no football analysis in the prediction for me. But here's what it will boil down to. If Alabama wins this football game, it's going to be because their defense pushed Georgia in a bunch of 3rd and longs. I know Alabama is one-dimensional, but I know Ty Simpson can win games facing 17 3rd and 9s. He's done it. He's done it almost all year apart from the game against Oklahoma. So I know they can play that brand of football. I worry about Georgia's ability to play that brand of football. And I think this Alabama defense is one of the most underrated units in football. I think they're playing great ball right now. It's a defensive-led football team right now. Nobody really talks about that. They just want to talk about the passing offense, which I get. But I think that's how they find a way to win this football game. I think on paper, Georgia's the better football team. They don't have that many flaws, but these things aren't played on paper, and they have been the last 10 times.
Alabama?
Yeah, Alabama.
Not an enthusiastic pick by Alabama.
24-1, because I know these people back here. Look, I got my start covering the University of Georgia. Like I said, yeah, I get it. I know. I get it. It's where my start was. I understand, but I have to say it like it is.
I would have never believed that. I was fully expecting you to pick the Dogs.
I'm sorry.
I think what it is I think Georgia people are gun shy about picking Georgia against Alabama.
Paul, you can feel it. You can feel it from the fans and from the football players on both sides. Those Alabama football players look like they're wearing ironclad when they play this team. I don't know what it is. They solve all problems. Guys, this is a football team in Alabama that gave up 7 sacks in the Iron Bowl 4 years ago, came in here, didn't give up any of them to Jordan Davis, Devontae Wyatt, all of them, Jalen Carter, 0, goose-egged them. So they just play better every time they play them. And so until they don't, I'll ride with it, even to the booze.
The film guy has spoken. Getting booed by his own people.
It's tough life. Hey, don't call me a biased hack, though. You can't do it no more.
We'll be right back. More to come after this from Atlanta.